My name is, it was said, Menesio Muino, I'm a Nala, because I'm there to hold the hand of the upcoming young journalists and take them there far to the table where we are co-leading. Ladies and gentlemen, our audience that are out there, because this is a hybrid platform, those following us digitally, I have the privilege to introduce somebody, unbelievable. So this is somebody I think is most suitable and meets the requirements of Nala and the values to be the patron of the third Nala Summit. When I looked at what Nala stands for in her biography, I actually thought this was not coincidental at all. Because the person I will introduce to you shortly has traveled the road where the leaders of Nala are busy paving and traveling on now. And here I'm talking about Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Ndempelila Francina Nkwanangobe Nandi-Ndaitwah, who is going to say that. And as it was referred to already, the presidential candidate of the ruling party, SWAPO. And when you look at her background, really, I think she has been so modest, and sometimes I believe that her humble beginning has not been fully told. She is really one of those people, if you look back, I can just briefly say because time is against us. So when you look at that, what I highlighted from her, a young girl from Onamtai, who joined SWAPO at the tender age of 14 and left Namibia in 1974. When I looked at what she was doing, whether it's at the UN or at the continental level, or just here in SADC, because at times she was based in Lusaka, Zambia, she was based in Dar es Salaam. She will address students at the universities, mainly in Dar es Salaam, that university. She will go and talk to the political students there. There is so much. When you were talking about Resolution 435, Okatokolifo, she was part of the delegation. She attended the pre-implementation meetings. When you come back home, we can't even talk about that and finish. When she came back home, 1989, those who have been following her career, she was the Director General of the Department of Women's Affairs. That was also a ministerial rank. And then when you check that she was even our Minister of Broadcasting, Information and Broadcasting, there is so much. She was the Minister of Environment, which means she is really taking a lot. And when you take her off the political stage, she was busy with the youth. At a time, she was the leader. She played netball, and she was the captain of that team. When it comes to the youth, the Girl Guides, she was there. There was really a lot she was into, but again, I've been warned about the time that at home, I actually thought, should I say this or not? At home, she is known as a mother with a strong baby rap, or dikwa. It is said that that strap, everybody has placed there. And that it means when you put your child on the back, the support and comfort you get, the child can go to sleep. That's how she's known here at home. That's what she's saying, that everybody fits there, regardless of your background and status. That's what we're talking about. So for now, to cut it short, let's welcome Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah to the stadium for them. Once again, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the presidential candidate of the SWAPO party for the elections in November 2024. Dr. Nandi-Ndaitwah, the theme of the third summit of NALA is the right of women to lead. How do you understand that theme? Here to start setting the stage.
This theme is really telling it all. And I think those who thought of it, they went deeper into where we are coming from. And when we say women's right to lead, we have to understand leadership is to lead wherever you are. And really, it's time for women to lead. Hence, a summit like this one. And truly, women are ready, and the world is ready for women leaders.
Thank you very much, yes. How do you view the current global landscape regarding women's rights to lead and get into these high positions?
When one thinks of where we are coming from, particularly that it was not until 1919 when women were allowed to vote and later on to be voted. And you have to think of this, thinking also where we are coming from in the creation. So it's such a long period. But from 1919 to now, and just see how the whole women participation has been developing, maybe the pace has been reducing constantly. For example, one of the bodies, the international body one can think of is the United Nations, and particularly the General Assembly, where we can consider it to be the World Parliament. At least by 1953, we were able to produce a woman president of the General Assembly, a lady from India. And of course, moving forward, in the 60s, we have also seen women coming into the leadership. But I have to tell you, it was a challenge. And really, for us to understand where we come from, there was a challenge in the sense that when you come to the women getting into the leadership, the support they were getting from the society was very limited. Limited in the sense that I remember in the 60s, most women who were coming into the leadership, they even sacrificed their families. And that is when you go to the research, you'll find it, that there was no that strong support. But when we came to the 70s, the situation started changing a little bit. Now, where we are backed by the laws. So we are seeing many countries who are adopting gender-friendly laws. And that's where I say the situation now is more friendly, but not completely. We still have a long way to go. And you have really to, as a woman, you need to redouble your efforts in a manner that, because when looking at a woman, they don't look at an individual. They look at the whole women family. It's unlike when they are looking at men, you can be singled out as a certain so-and-so. But for a woman, it's a woman, and it cannot be Netumbo. When you do something which maybe the society feel could not be done, they will not put it on Netumbo, but they would rather say, you see now women what they are doing. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say we still have a long way to go, but we are in a better, friendly environment. We just have to find a way how we can manage it so that we can see that there is a clear understanding within the society to respect the role of both men and women in our development.
Indeed, Your Excellency, and I understand that we are backed by laws now to advance women, and there is no doubt in my mind that a woman can really perform, but still you find perceptions where people want to scrutinize and closely come to this particular individual, doubting the leadership of a woman. Have you in any way encountered something like that? And how could it be, or can it be really overcome?
Yes, I have encountered that situation. And I can say this to share with the young generation as they are coming, to understand that things are not so easy. When I went into exile, of course, before I left, I didn't have any problem being the chairman. So that time I'm saying it as we used to say it. The chairman of the SWAPO Youth League in Ovamboland, which is northern Namibia. And I didn't have a problem as such. In fact, when I left in exile, I was in a group. We were 5 in a group. There were 4 men and myself. And as the chairperson, I was the leader of the group. And really, we were traveling, and I could see they were accepting the leadership. Then now went into exile. One of my assignments was a chief representative in Lusaka. Now, the interesting part is there was a chief representative. The chief representative was assigned to another responsibility. But for 1 year, I was a deputy chief representative without a chief representative. I did not complain. I did not complain. I say, let me just do my work. And in looking at it, it was a way that you have to test whether can she really become a chief representative. So it was after that, then I have to be a chief representative. So these are the things. But when you know what you're supposed to do, don't try really to make life difficult for you. Just do what you are doing. Just do what you are doing. Because a title is good. However, the outcome is the best.
Yeah.
So that is really what I can share.
Yes.
That you are always on a test. And you better just do what you think is necessary to be done, not for yourself, but for the people you're supposed to serve.
Indeed, Your Excellency. You know, when she was the chief representative in Central Africa, it was the time the frontline states were very active supporting the liberation struggle in Southern Africa. And she has to attend various meetings that had to do with the liberation struggle. And when you look at her biography, we learn that she had a permanent seat on the flight of the then president of Tanzania, and she was nicknamed Mama Waswapo, which is almost correlating with the mother figure that I just referred to here. So that was the time. Can you briefly say that?
Yes. In fact, after being SWAPO representative in Central Africa, which was based in Lusaka, I was then made the chief representative to East Africa, based in Dar es Salaam. And there was another responsibility, because then the OAU Liberation Committee was based in Dar es Salaam. So I was then representing also SWAPO there. And it's true that was now the time of the intense negotiations on the independence of Namibia. That finally led to the adoption of Resolution 435. And the frontline states, which was under the chair of President Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, were very active at the time. And I want to confirm it's true that every time, wherever there is a summit, President Nyerere has given me a permanent seat on his plane. Basically, I was like part of the Tanzanian delegation. And that is where now I have really come to realize how important it is for any young person to be in the company of highly experienced people. And if you do not adopt a negative attitude, you can learn a lot. And because being now closer to people like Mwalimu, traveling with him on the plane, and you know sometimes 2-3 hours, you cannot be silent. There would be some serious discussions, and in this case related to the liberation struggle, not only for your country, but for Africa. And being now the SWAPO chief representative, it's true, he decided just to know me as Mama wa SWAPO. And I remember in Beijing, where I was serving as the rapporteur general of that conference, and President Nyerere came, and then he spotted, he said, Mama wa SWAPO, injo kuno, injo. So these are some of the things that you need to be focused and really to learn in order to understand the world around you. And a person like Nyerere is a person where you can really be empowered for the rest of your life on how to work with different generations. Coming now to work with the youth, in fact, I must say I might be one of the lucky people that in addition to being a young person and working with young people, when I finally got my first diploma outside Namibia, and that is what I got now at the Lenin High Consumer School. The focus was on how to work with the youth. And when you are working with the youth, how do you try to understand what are their needs? How do you try to fit into what they want to be done? And how would you also guide them? Because they must always be two things put together for you to get a perfect outcome in whatever you are doing. And that's where really one comes to admire the intergenerational, because you must enrich one another. The young generation, the old generation, because as an older one, you have your experience. As for the young ones, they are exploring. And really, if you put the two together, then you'll be able to get a product that can serve the situation in which you are at one particular point in time.
Yes. Indeed, Your Excellency, you just touched on a key point. The latest census of Namibia has clearly indicated that 71.1% constitute young people under the age of 35. And then we also have women that are more than male. Now, being a presidential candidate, especially the young people, are looking at you and say, should you become a president, what commitment are you going to make for this majority of the population of Namibia, and how can the rest of Africa learn from there, not really undermining what you have been doing with the young people already? Your story tells it all.
Yes, it's true. Our statistics just came out and told us that 71% of the Namibian population are young people from 0 to 35. Now, as to your question, what should I do or we do as a party in order to serve this population of ours? In fact, we have started already to serve this population of ours. First and foremost, very few, if any, Namibian women who deliver not in a health facility. I'm starting there because the age we are talking is from 0. So, which means we have to take care of this generation, not even at the time of their birth, but rather take care of them as they are carried by their mothers in their womb. And that's why every Namibian woman have access to antenatal care. And that's why they deliver in a health facility, because we want to make sure that our children from 0, they are taken care of. HIV/AIDS has been a challenge since Namibia got independence. We got our independence at the time when the world was dealing with HIV/AIDS. And we were bold enough to introduce the antiviral treatments. And now we have even been recognized worldwide that we are almost at a 0 in as far as the mother-to-child transmission. So we are taking care of that generation. We go further. As we stand now, 99% of a Namibian child has access to education, which means from pre-primary, 99%, they are now, our enrollment rate has come to 99%. So we are taking care of that generation. We go further. Primary education is free. This again, we are taking care of that generation up to the secondary school. Of course, there are times when parents might make donations to their specific schools. So that one is allowed. But no school should prevent a child from entering school if the parents are not in position to give that generation, to give that donation. So we are taking care of that generation. Then we come to the universities. We have introduced a program of student grants. And every Namibian child or students who qualify, they are paid by the government through that program. Some they can get it as a grant, some they can get it as a loan, but all of them who qualify, so we are taking care of. Currently, when we passed our budget, we have even reduced the taxes when it comes to buying houses. And this is now to benefit the young professionals who are just coming in. So we are really taking care of this generation. And there's quite a lot of programs by the government to support the young entrepreneurs, to support our youth, to support the women. Specifically, I can talk about agriculture. I'm very passionate about agriculture. And I'm so happy that quite a number of young Namibian women and boys, girls and boys, they are now getting interested in agriculture. As a result of that, through the agri-bank, we can now give them loans which are collateral free. However, they have to be mended. So we are really having those programs, and we will continue. Another thing that we are passionate about it is the development of sports and the creative industry. And really to look into other things like, I was very happy when I was reading in some of your boxes here. There's one which is written mental health.
Yes.
And mental health is something that we have to take very seriously. We are taking it very seriously because of its impact on our young people. So these are really the issues that make us to take care of these young people in Namibia. Now, for the 50-50 that you asked me, how did we got there? I believe, and I think I might be right, our political history, the history of apartheid, could have also helped us. Because knowing that during the liberation struggle, we had the three fronts of our struggle: political, military, and diplomacy. And women were the ones who were really taking care of the fighters when they are in the country. Diplomatically, women were part of the diplomatic campaign. As chief representative, of course, I was one of them, maybe single one, but you had women who were really attending international conference, engaging in this diplomatic front. And then those who were in the army, the People's Liberation Army of Namibia. So now when we got independence, we say we cannot go back there. We must remain together and we cannot allow discrimination. So that is what I believe has brought us where we are. And even when we got our 50-50 within the party structure, something that took us 3 years to ponder around on how we should allow this 50-50. Our last Congress of the party has also now decided to find a way how we can have the quota for the young people.
Wow.
And I'm throwing it to the young people of SWAPO Party, the SWAPO Youth League. Do what the women have done.
Yes.
When a principal decision was taken that we must have a 50-50 and put in the Constitution. I said it took us 3 years having different workshops. Comrade Kahungu is here, our secretary for Women's Council. Different workshops until we found a formula. So our young people, we are there to help you. You must now start to think what could be the formula to be used so that we can implement that decision of our Congress. So it must be something which is scientifically done, clearly stipulated, understood by all of us, and then a final decision can be taken.
Thank you very much. It's time for a few questions from the floor, but if my producer can allow me, there is a question on the media. I know that the campaign will start in earnest after October 16th, that's in Namibia, when the Electoral Commission of Namibia will confirm officially the candidates for various political parties and independent candidates. Now, as a presidential candidate, what has been your experience when it comes to media coverage? The media portrayal sometimes may differ, and being a female candidate, there may be some biases as a perception is or real between the two. Your experience, please, Your Excellency.
Anyway, I don't think I have really seen much thus far in our media, in as far as the 2024 elections concerned. Yes, you are right. The campaign would start in earnest when the Electoral Commission formally accepted all the nominations. But currently, there's quite a number of activities that are taking place. I have to tell you, as I'm sitting here, I'm waited to go and launch the SWAPO Party website and the SWAPO Party radio programs that we are going to run from Radio Energy. It's not a public broadcaster. It's our own. It's a SWAPO own radio. And as from today, our programs are going to run. So maybe it will be at that point that we will be able to see what will be the reaction of the media. But I must say the past 2 months, I have been very active on the road. Those who are following the social media, there's a lot of activities in which Netumbo and other SWAPO leaders are involved. But the main media, I think they are maybe still trying to draw up their strategies. But there is good coverage like you when, yeah, the main media, but the social media is doing their part. Yeah, so, but the national issues are covered, like last day before yesterday. I had a good coverage, but that is because it was not really an election as such. We were remembering the life of one of our veterans, and it was covered live on all NBC platforms, which was really good. So, but the campaign is on, and I will still campaign to say, our people, please come out and register. Register is your passport, and I want to tell you that when I'm asking you to go and register and vote, I'm asking you to vote for SWAPO Party and its presidential candidate, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. Yeah. So that's what I can say. And really for the youth, we have been engaging with the youth. I've been really engaging with the youth of late. And I'll continue to engage you. Because as I said, I know what the youth of Namibia wants. Employment, you want it. quality service, you want it. And we must do it together. This program we have started, they are meant for that. And I need you so that we can implement them together in order to bring prosperity in this country.
Thank you very much. We heard that she's being expected somewhere else. Any question from the floor?
But that should not deter you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Ade. May you please introduce yourself briefly when you pose that question? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency, the VP, the Vice President, and the presidential candidate of the upcoming elections. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Deborah Maniel. I come from South Sudan, the youngest country in Africa.
Wow, thank you.
And I am a Nala. As they were projecting the pictures there, my photo appeared somewhere. And that is why I am here. In my country, I am a PS, Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Before that, I was a Minister of Labor and Public Service. So both are political positions. And it's a challenge as a young person to reach up to here. So Your Excellency, I am still having the ambition of maybe reaching somewhere, maybe not where you have reached now, but somewhere. And other young women who are in this room, can you share with us, just in 1 minute or two, how we can navigate our way through to reach where you are today? That's my first question. The second is, my country has an affirmative action of 35% of women participation in all the areas of the decision making, but we are struggling to reach there. How did Namibia reach the 50-50? Can you share with us the formula that you have used to achieve that? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. On your first question, my advice is don't compete with anybody. Just be yourself. And never think anybody could be a threat to you. It's only your own work that will make you to move. As I stand here, I sit here, I have worked with many young people. And I can proudly say I mentor them. How do I say that? Almost every ministry I went, when I left, my deputy became a minister. When I was a minister of women, when I left, my deputy became a minister. When I was a minister of environment and tourism, when I left, my deputy became a minister. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I have produced 2 ministers. The current minister of International Relations and Cooperation was my deputy. The current minister in the office of the president was my deputy. And I have to tell you, there were some people who came and say, you are letting your deputies too much, giving them too much power. Aren't you afraid to, they may outmaneuver you or anything? And I'm telling you, this is the truth. I said, I'm not threatened by anybody. And the fact that they are deputy ministers, I'm a minister, is not because I know more than them. It's only that a position can only be held by one person. So therefore, I cannot be selfish in molding them, in working with them, for them to know what should be done. Because I don't believe on a person that you are in a position, and then when you are leaving, you are saying you cannot find anybody to take your place. You are a failure. Yeah. You are a failure. you must be a mender. You must be a mender. And what do you want me to say?
Yes.
When she came in the ministry, she came, when she was appointed the parliament, she came to my office and said, Netumbo, I want you to be my mender. Yes, she came. And she was working with my first minister because I introduced in this country the idea of the children's parliament. And I sold it until it went through. And I was happy for her to be the first speaker of the Namibia Children's Parliament. And you can see where she is now. So that is the secret, my dear colleague. Don't compete with anybody. Don't be threatened by anybody, because when you are in the position of leadership and you are surrounded with good people, it's you who's shining. And let others also shine. Now, about now how we reached the 50-50 in the party. In summary, as I said, first we discussed at the party level, and then the Congress decided we must have 50-50 women in all party structure. And the Constitution went to say, and it should be a zebra list. It should be a zebra, with the exception of the top 4. Here again, I had a discussion with my former Secretary for Women Affairs, that's Comrade Eunice. She was saying, no, Netumbo, even the top 4 should be zebra. I said, please hold on. We should not allow the top 4 to be zebra. Because if we allow the top 4 to be zebra, it will take us time. There will be always, the men will be the president, the woman will be a vice president, the secretary general will be a man, the deputy will be a woman. So we will end up for a long time just to be deputy. So let us leave the top 4 open, so that like now, at our last Congress, you have now the president, a man, may his soul rest in eternal peace, the vice president, a woman, who is myself, and then the secretary general, a woman. At least because you have only 2 offices there. So it's the office of the president is led by a man, the office of the secretary general by a woman. So that's why I say, please, let's not insist on the 4 to be 50, I mean a zebra. That was going to be dangerous. But now you can have a president is a woman, a secretary general is a woman. It's not a problem, because the Constitution did not talk about a zebra. So that is how we got it. And even in our parliament now, when we have our list as a SWAPO party, it's always a man and a woman. And like this time, the first person in our list is going to be a woman, because that will be our secretary general, because she's a woman. And then the second will be a man. Yeah, it's deputy secretary general is a man. And then the third person will be a woman. So it will always just be like that. That's how we reached the 50-50 in our parliament.
Yeah. Ooh. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Your Excellencies, and beautiful women I'm seeing here, and also the men too. My name is Faith Waziri. I am from Nigeria. I work with Women in Politics Forum and a part of a network of Women's Democracy Network in Africa. So my question to you, Ma, when you were speaking, when we were reading your profile, and what struck out to me is that you're now the presidential candidate of your party, which is your ruling party. Now, in my country, we don't have proportional representation, so the fight is done at candidacy level, when you're up for primaries to emerge as who becomes the candidates of the party, and we do not have independence candidacy in my country. So I want to know how you were able to navigate party primaries, because that is one point that they've been able to use to take out a lot of women from the race in Nigeria. They would bring in zoning, they would bring in a lot of issues. And we know that once we don't have enough women that get on the ballot of parties, we cannot then push, our chances of getting women elected then reduces. So I want to know how you've been able to navigate political party primaries. And also for quota system, like I said earlier, we do not have a proportional system of government. We'll have first past the post. So we've been trying to see how we could pass a bill that would have reserved seats for women in the national parliament and state parliament, but it's been difficult to do. So I want you to also share some tips on how we think that we'll be able to lobby parliament, really, to be able to pass these bills. And also, I want to ask, we call this shooting your shots in Nigeria, when we're speaking about how you've been mentoring over the years, and how you've also mentored Honorable Emaye. I also want to be someone that you would mentor, a mentee going forward. I'm shooting my shots now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, briefly on how one overcome the party primaries, that's another thing. You know, in Namibia, you have the party, like I'm now talking about the SWAPO party. You have party structures. And our system is very democratic. From the sections, the branches, the district, the region, up to the national level. And when you come now to the positions for the national leadership, you need the support of all these people, because they are the ones finally who come to the Congress. Yes. So it is not a once-off exercise for you to reach there. It has to come a long, long way, because you must be in contact with all the party structures. Yeah, maybe they are telling me now about the event, but yes. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the party structures, in order for them to realize what you can do for them. First, you must really be honest and sincere when it comes to party activities. That's very, very important. You are informed. A person like me, I joined at a very early age. And my focus on the party is always to do things in the best interest of the people, party members. And I think comments like Beans, who I'm seeing in the room, whom we have known each other more than anybody I can spot in this room, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. So we had a very intense, for the first time in 2022, when it comes now to this position, because our constitution, our rules says, the president of the party, when we are going for elections, automatic is our presidential candidate. Except if for one reason or the other, the president cannot be, then automatic is the vice president. Now, we had our last Congress in 2022. And there we knew that our late president was not going to be available because he was in his second term. So it was now clear that whoever is going to emerge as the vice president, automatic is our presidential candidate. And the program was arranged that we must go to every region in Namibia. We were 3 candidates in this race for the vice president. And it was made very open. You go and present yourself to party members in an open discussion, and then they can finally take a decision. So then when we came to the Congress, I got the highest vote. But it took 3 months all of us together going across the country, talking to delegates, and then present yourself. But as I say, it does not start on those 3 months. It's a question, how do you really do your work in the party, and how do party members understand you? Are you with them? Do you find time to be engaging them, or you don't find the time? So it's an issue for people to understand you, so that they will see you'll be able to save them. So it really differs from one structure to another, because ours is a party that is working all the time. As I was sharing with the leadership there, that as a minister, you hardly have to find time to go to the people. But because I know particularly how you should work with the young people and how to understand them, you always make a space for them. Finally, I can share you, colleagues, if you are in a political space and you are going to the people, never be in a hurry when you are having engagement with the public. You decided to go to them, it's their day. They don't see you all the time, and don't shy away from any questions. It's the only way you will understand them and you'll be able to save them better. And don't make empty promises. Don't make, if you say, I'm doing this and I'm going to come back, you have to go back. You must go back. If you say, I will do this for you, do it. Don't try to think maybe, because they are your boss basically. And they need to, you must have a trust. You must build a trust between you and the people that you want to lead. If you break the trust, then you are finished. Even your programs of nation building will not go ahead. Trust is very important. Honesty is very important in dealing with the people.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have to cut off now. Time is really against us. Okay, that's with the permission. There is a gentleman who has a question also. I know that you...
You know, I felt like I had to ask a question because, you know, I'm one of the few men here, so I had to represent men. So thank you very much for acknowledging. My name is Clarence Muniba. I'm from Liberia. And so many people know that Liberia produced the first democratically elected president, a female president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who I worked for, and I worked for so long that I feel uncomfortable if a woman is not my boss. So... But I worked for her for almost 12 years. She made me Minister of State, head of the electricity sector. So I honestly feel that women, and I want to tell a quick story. She was touring, we were touring one day, and she went to a little kid who was 5 or 6. And she said, what do you want to be when you grow up? He said, I want to be vice president. She said, why not president? He said, well, because presidents are for women. So that's how much, but the one thing that the people of Liberia did, the women of Liberia did, is that they were very resolute in 2005 to vote for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, especially the market women, to the point that they actually started to steal the voting cards of their sons or people who were not going to vote for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The women even threatened not to have relations with their husbands. So it got very serious to the point that the women of Liberia decided that they wanted to have a female president. So then the question comes here to Namibia. How are the women taking and embracing this challenge? Are they truly focused on ensuring that Namibia produces a woman president? Simply because if the women stick together, then this campaign is over. It's over. If the women stick together, the campaign is over. And the last thing I'll say is that in the United States, I was there when Hillary Clinton ran for president. And to be frank with you, the women did not stick with her. That's why she did not win. So again, the question comes back to the women of Namibia. Are they truly ready for a female president? Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I'm happy that you brought in Meme Helen Salif. It's one of my mentor. When we were preparing for the Beijing conference, at that time she was the UNDP African Bureau head. And personally, as the chief negotiator for the African group, we were really relying on her support, even using her office. And I tell you one thing that we share a birthday. We are both babies of the 29 October, of course, different years. And I remember after her first attempt, we visited each other. She came here. I was then a Minister of Women Affairs. I invited her. I say, come over. And there will be another time coming. And the other time came. And then we celebrated together. And Namibia was her first country to visit, pay a state visit as a president of Liberia. So we are in touch also with her. And for your last part, I really don't want to disturb this, but let the right person tell us whether Namibian women are ready.
You have another mic there?
Please
Please give her the mic. Or should I give it to her?
I
No, they have it.
I quickly want to intervene before I hand over. We are streaming this event live, as I informed you earlier in the beginning,
Yes.
and there is a question, Your Excellency, from Nigeria online.
Just hold
Okay.
on. Can we give her a chance quickly?
Thank you
Yes,
very
okay.
much.
No
Yes.
problem, no problem.
Yes,
Please
thank
go
you.
ahead.
Your Excellency, I take this chance as an instruction to say, from now on, you go on, advocate, lobby, and tell Namibian women and Namibian men to rally behind Comrade Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. That is the instruction I got from here. So, but the question on if women, Namibian women are ready. Are we ready? But remember, actions speaks louder than words. We are ready, but we have to do more. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, yes, friend, that's your question now.
So there is somebody saying, I'm watching and have a question from Nigeria. What challenges, Your Excellency, have you faced, and I'm paraphrasing now, in your political career, and how did you overcome it? That's a question from a viewer online from Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I think the challenges that I have faced might not be different from some of other women. First, the society never believed in the women leadership. And when I talk about the society, I'm talking about society in totality, both men and women. They did not believe on equality. And what I gave, the example I gave earlier, of being first made a deputy chief representative without a chief representative.
Yes.
It tells it all. But I must tell you, I realized it, but I decide I'm not going to complain. I'll just move forward. That is one thing. The other one is the issue of our own perception. You do things and people think that maybe you should have not done so. I remember when one time it was a Saturday, and one of our colleagues, a lady, visited me. And when she found I was doing my laundry, she really felt, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that? So now that again, it makes me to think, am I really doing something wrong? Do I have to be saved? Or I have to do it myself? So those are really just the issues that, and sometimes you are saying something in a very serious way, and then the joke comes, yeah, let us take it because a woman is talking. That is very disturbing. You are not taking it because it matters. You are taking it because a woman is talking, or you are making a point, and then somebody say, no, let us listen, now women are talking. It's just one person who is talking, and you are making it women. It can be easily disempowering if you are not careful. So those things, they keep coming up. They keep coming up, and but you have just to overcome them. You have just to overcome them and just be yourself and to be focused. But those challenges will be there. One thing, if you don't have the support in the family, is another problem. Just our husbands, they can break your career if they don't have that support, if they don't want a woman to advance. So these are some of the challenges, but I must tell you, I'm one of the lucky people that I have not experienced that. And from 83 up to now, I continue to be comfortably in my family. And my husband and the children are very supportive.
Yes. Thank you very much. Talking about family, she's a mother, 3 sons, and the husband is the former Chief of Defense Force of Namibia, retired Lieutenant General Epaphras Nandi-Ndaitwah. Okay, we now have to go to the commitment that you made, Your Excellency.
There's a journalist dying.
Okay. Okay, you're given a chance. That's your time, please, your question.
Thank you, Honorable. My name is Sylvia Shandali, a journalist from the Namibia Press Agency. In recent events, Namibia has declared the common law offense of sodomy unconstitutional and invalid. As a presidential candidate, kindly share your opinion on that. Thank you.
Yes, you know that I'm also a lawmaker, and that issue is a legal issue. And you heard that the government is studying the ruling. The same applies. I have also mentioned it in one of our meetings, that SWAPO Party, we have directed our legal department to study the court ruling, and then it will take it from there. So that remains the position, as our Department for Legal Affairs has not yet come back to the leadership.
Thank you very much. Can we go to the commitment now, Your Excellency, that you have just read there? Yes. What did you commit there to do for Nala?
Okay, I, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, endorses African Young Women Beijing +25 manifesto. I commit to demand 10 on intergenerational co-leadership.
Yes.
I pledge to gather women across generations to ensure effective progress, system, and culture for women to have the right to lead.
Thank you. And as we wrap up, this dialogue has been a keynote address for the third summit of NALA. I know to some of us, we were used to having speeches, but this came actually different. And I think going forward, especially when you have young people in your midst, we're going to see so many ways of doing things. So Her Excellency is now going to officially open the third summit of NALA by doing what is expected of that. I don't want to say it. And there she is now. Your Excellency, that's your time. Can you officially open the summit?
So, first to the President, to the Chair, Dr. Mampal, and all. Once again, thank you for choosing Namibia to be the host of the third summit. And for me to be the patron. I sincerely thank also our Minister of Information Communication Technology, who has served me so well as the patron and by taking care of our guests and all the preparations that has gone with it. Yes, the theme, women's right to lead. And in Namibia, we are in the election year. And when we talk about women to lead, we are not just talking about women to lead as president. We are talking women to lead holistically. Our elections are presidential and parliamentarian elections. And we are expecting that we should have a balanced parliament in terms of men and women and in terms of the young and old. So therefore, the Namibian, as we are making our choices, those should be our guiding principle so that we can have the truly intergenerational. And intergenerationals, we talk about young men and young women. If we have really to ensure that our developmental programs are focused and addressing the real needs of our people. So I welcome you all to Namibia, those who came from other countries. And for Namibians, there's the chance for you to learn and also to share your experience with your colleagues from other African countries. Africa is our continent, and Africa should not continue to be a continent of resources, but a continent of poor people. We must make use of our resources to address poverty in the African continent. We must also make Africa a continent of peace. Peace and stability is a prerequisite for development. And as your leaders, we have and I have confidence and hope on the youth of Africa to turn things around and ready to share our experience that can strengthen you and make you to think further so that Africa can play her position. With this, is now my honor and privilege to declare the third Nalafem Summit officially opened.